I quit. I'm done with trying to share the show on time. Like y'all get what you get. James and I with our heads down on our phone trying to share the show because apparently we need like a 2-minute countdown. Do we have that? Is that a possibility?
Sure
do like a minute?
It's just a video. So we can make a video that's longer.
Okay. Well, we'll have to look into that because I don't even care anymore.
Well, by the way, it's the Sports Den.
It is brought to you by ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Coming in clutch for me today, by the way.
Really? Already? That kind of day?
That kind of day, man.
Jeez.
That kind of day. Yeah. No, get to ABC. Go to ABC Fine Wine and Spirits for all of your liquor, cigar, wine, beer, whatever. All your spirit needs. Always be celebrating. We're still celebrating a victory because it's a bye week here in Jacksonville. So we get a 2-week victory parade for the Jags, which is good news. So get to ABC, reach for the good stuff in honor of Trevor and Smoot for delivering a baby.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And whatever that
congratulations to you.
Yeah, whatever that guy's name is that had the interception. What was it? Nevin Shapiro?
Sure. Close enough.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. And for the 12-year-old kicker who's not legally able to drink yet, like go ahead and take you a sip for one Matthew Wright. Is that his name?
Now that's true.
Now we got it.
We don't know about the other guy.
Yes. I'm pretty sure was it Nevin? No. It's not Nevin?
We had it's on our clip, so it's on our reel, but I have no idea. I mean, listen, one thing I learned from being in a pro locker room on numerous sides, and they used to say I was really cruel when I was doing the strength and conditioning for the arena team. But I would tell them, like, at camp, like, they're like, you don't even know my name. I said, no, I don't. They're like, are you going to get the note? No, I won't. Like, talk to me. If you're here the second week of the season, I'll get to know you.
I'll put that energy in.
They're like, why? Because the odds are high that you won't be here. Well, and I don't want to get to know somebody's name. And then I'm all here. Now I'm attached. And then you're no longer here anymore.
Because obviously, when you know somebody's name, you become attached.
We're pals.
It's a bond.
Yeah, we're
at that
pals
point.
now. We're communicating. I don't want to talk to you.
I just feel like I should know this guy's name.
He's played 90 games.
What? Say it again.
Nevin Lawson.
Oh, you were right.
I was right. Nevin.
Who's Nevin Shapiro? Is the Miami guy?
Miami guy. Yeah. Lawson, you said?
They could use him again.
Okay. Well, get a drink for Nevin Lawson as well. Pour one out at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. I want to start the conversation off with a serious conversation about Dan Mullen. And I don't want to troll James. I see the laughter.
Trolling, man.
I see this.
I've been talking about Daniel all morning, man.
I have to.
What do I have to troll?
It's confusing, I think, to Gator fans. And it's confusing to me. Because I want to look at this from a couple different angles. It's been a bad week. I have trust issues.
Okay.
With Daniel right now over this quarterback situation.
Fair.
No idea what's going to happen against Georgia. None. The common sense thing is that you're going to run 15 out, that Anthony is going to be the guy.
Okay.
But Daniel has shown that he is ultra proud of himself, and he is going to prove that he's right under any circumstance. And so I do not trust that that's going to happen. I don't have any inside information on that. That's just my gut telling me this. Then this morning, they lose the biggest recruit of their class. He decommits.
Probably going to a rival.
I don't even know the kid's name because I don't, like we just talked about, there's no reason for me to know these kids' names. I would suggest that if you know every recruit's name that is committed to Florida, you seek help.
Yeah. Weird, dude. Like I've always thought about recruiting is weird.
Very.
Following a bunch of little boys.
Very weird. But I had this conversation earlier today of who are we supposed to compare Dan Mullen to? Like,
that's a good question.
Everybody says you have to keep up with Kirby in recruiting. And if you're a Gator fan, I have like the worst news that you really don't want to hear right now. That's not the rabbit for you, because if that's your goal, that's not happening anytime soon. And if if the thought around the country is that the top tier programs are trying to keep up with Alabama and Georgia, and if you don't do that, you need to lose your job, then nobody has a job.
Fair.
And there's a bunch of different reasons for that. Like this whole, well, you're in the state of Florida, you're 100 miles from the best recruits. That's irrelevant now. The recruiting is so regional now. Like Miami, Florida, and Florida State, none of the three have the facilities to keep up with the big boys. None of the three have the recent history to keep up with the big boys. Florida was the only one that I felt like had the coach that had the name but what that name is what I said the other day. It gets them in the top 5 on all the big recruits, but they don't ever get chosen.
Right. Always, never the bride. Always
Correct.
The bridesmaid.
So it's like, I guess I'm saying this to Florida, but I guess in a wild way, I'm saying this to Florida State and Miami too. I'm not saying it's not going to happen to where you get back to that point, but right now, I don't think you should be comparing yourself to Alabama and Clemson and Ohio State and Georgia. You don't have the facilities. You don't have the recent success. You don't have the swagger on the coaching staff or the credibility on the coaching staff. You just don't have the resources is the bottom line. Even Florida does not have this. They're not putting forth the same resources that Georgia's putting forth in everything from football ops to facilities to recruiting. Am I right on that?
Yeah, for the most part. The recruiting part, somebody brought up a really good point. And I think it gets exacerbated a little bit more than what we want to, because you see so many guys go to other places and they're like,
what?
It gets stretched out or exaggerated or all this other
don't
BS.
Be hitting these like, I know you got a college degree.
No,
you don't need to rub it in.
I was like, I've been doing spelling words with my kid. Like,
okay.
You'd be amazed at what
Pretty sure you said exacerbated.
I might have said, who knows? I'm trying to be like T.I. here.
We need to do that. We need to start having a word of the day that we put on the script.
Exacerbate is what I said. And I mean, it's tiring because it's a narrative that's overly pushed. And this is what I mean.
Gotcha.
So Cincinnati will have some kids from Florida that are balling. I'm just using them as an example.
Okay.
They're in their 3rd year.
Right.
They went to Cincinnati and were given the opportunity to ball. Perfect example is like a kid here from locally in Jacksonville that goes to Creekside High School. He's a left tackle. He's only been playing that position for basically 8 games. I thought he was getting whooped by somebody else. It was the other one, and I watched what he did to the other kid, and it was just terrible. You would not touch my child like that.
Yeah,
you got to fight me. You got.
This kid may,
but this kid might win.
He may.
But I was watching it. But again, he's a Florida kid that is just so deep. So like, yeah, he'll go somewhere.
He started to get some offers though.
Yeah, big Florida's after him. Florida State, Ole Miss, a lot of. But even then, I would call them. I hate to say this, and this is no knock. I'm including Florida State in this at this point right now. They're Power 5 JV. Until you prove like Ole Miss is not a destination job. If Lane Kiffin if Florida comes in and offers Lane Kiffin tomorrow, is he staying at Ole Miss or is he leaving to go to Florida?
Not a Power 5 JV, bro.
That's what Dan Mullen. That's why Dan Mullen was great. He went to Power 5 JV, developed Power 5 JV.
Florida State's not a Power 5 JV
right now.
They're not the elite tier.
Historically, right now, we're not even ranked right now. None of us are ranked. We can't even talk right now. We got to take that L right now.
First off, Florida is one of the 25 best teams in the country, but they're not ranked.
They're not ranked.
You're right.
Okay, that's my point. Right. That's not, again, getting back to it. The kid McCoy would normally leave and go somewhere and be a big, like, be the fine chick at a small school, like, big time. Whereas, and that happens. Now, the Alabamas, they're not going in and now a couple of years, 1 year they did. They signed like 5 of our top 10 players, but they're not going in and signing 10 guys from Florida. Like our state is really deep. Mm-hmm. Now they may be going to get like the better players, but there's still enough for you to be able to rake in. The problem is, and I'd said this from the beginning about Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen is a good coach. This is why I would have rather had, and this sounds weird, but if you would have said, you can't get over the name brand of Urban Meyer. But if it wasn't anybody other than Urban Meyer, and you told me Dan Mullen was going to be the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars as a college guy coming out, I wouldn't have been mad because that's what he likes doing. He doesn't like the other stuff, the recruiting stuff. And what he did in his first couple of years, which helped him kind of be able to solidify their recruiting, is hire a bunch of developers. He went and got Sal Sinceri, who's known for developing. He went and got a bunch of other guys. Now he went and tried to hire some cats. He got Tim Brewster, who's a recruiter. But for the most part, his staff, like the offensive line, heavy. One of the big things that I always hear Florida fans complain about is that he doesn't like recruiting. None of these guys like coaching. They don't like recruiting. And unfortunately,
are there people that like recruiting? Or are there people that
or they're just good at it? I believe Lane Kiffin. There is a certain type of guy, yes, that doesn't mind being on the road, away from their family, away from their stuff, seeing different cities, chasing kids. Like, it's not really chasing the kids per se. Just, I'm in Atlanta. Like, he won't. My dog Pimp, Coach Dante Pimpleton up at UMass, the running backs coach. Pimp is a great recruiter. Loves it. Young, still relatively my age, so relatively young. And man, you put him in a big city with a budget, he's gonna get you some kids now. He ain't gonna not do his job, but he ain't gonna not have fun either.
Right.
That's the people that I think like it. To hear Kevin Steele back when I was when he was at Florida State, when I was playing, and talk about how he liked the drive at night when he was going to recruit kids. Because this is before he's like, James, there's some coffee. The secret to staying up all night? Dip. Don't spit it out. He's not. Don't spit. But he was like, "Don't spit it out and drink your coffee." I'm like, that sounds like it could. Sounds like you're gonna get all kinds of cancers and throw it up. Still relatively young looking and good and good. I wouldn't hire him on the staff, but
he's in really good shape for his age.
Like when I saw him at Bobby's funeral, I was like, "Yo, coach, you want to hang out a little bit? You want to stay around, stay around the city, see what's changed." But I think you have to. It's hard. Because you have to have that right combination. But if you don't have enough of the guys, or it's not turning around quick, see Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart's a recruiter. Had his homeboy, Raymond Woody, been recruiter of the year at every conference that they've been at, that he's been in with him. Ain't developing nothing. And it bites you in the butt.
That's the thing. We've talked about this before, and there's a reason why coaches get grouped into either a good recruiter or a good coach. And it's the energy that goes in both. And it's a special skill set to be able to be great at both of those. Like you either are spending all of your free time recruiting, which is there already is not that much, or you're spending all of your free time developing. Like Saban has done a masterful job. And this is where I'm at with Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen is at a fork in the road, if you will, right now. Because here's the fact about Dan Mullen. If Dan Mullen were available right now, USC would call him, LSU would call him, anybody with a major job opening would call him, and they would offer him as much money as he's making now. And he can probably coach the next 30 years of his life if he wants to, making 7 to 10, God only knows how much by that time. I actually think salaries will go down at some point, but regardless, as much money, he'll be a top 15 paid coach in America for as long as he wants to coach, doing exactly what he's doing right now. Because most programs appreciate 8 to 10 wins a year. That brings money into the university. Right. But the crossroads he's at right now is, does he lose his stubbornness that it's going to take for him to take the next jump as a coach? And does he start to not hire buddies of his, but hire people who will improve the program, or better yet, fire people? And does he start to buy into recruiting? Because he's going to have to. I don't care who he has on staff. He's a big enough name that when the 4 and 5 star kid comes in that just left and got to spend 3 hours with Nick Saban and 2 hours with Dabo, and I'm convinced Kirby's having sleepovers. I don't know what he's doing, but they need the one-on-one time.
You know what he's doing.
Yeah, well,
we just can't.
They need the one-on-one time is my point. And if you can tell when somebody likes doing that and when somebody's fake with it and all that kind of stuff, he's going to have to make that decision.
Here's the crazy part. And I'm starting to get into it, and I get why Florida fans are the way that they are. You feel like you are so close.
Dude, they're relentless.
But like, I would say, and this is why he's crazy, not crazy, but Jacquez Green is probably one of the most fairest follows on the internet, and he gator till he died, like bleeds it. But he's just like, what do you want? Like he's like, because to me on the outside looking in, and I saw something where 1010, I guess one of the podcasts one of the Million Gator podcasts you guys have talked about if 15 was starting that game, you would have won, and I kind of believe that. But I also believe
which game?
The past game, the LSU game. But I also believe unless 15 plays linebacker or 3 technique, like it didn't matter. Like, because that wasn't the only problem. But I think if Dan Mullen would have solved one of these problems, he would have less. I think the reason why people are calling for his head, it looks like Anthony, but it ain't just Anthony. It's a accumulation thing. Like, dude, you've done all these things, and this is the head of it. This is the head of it, the AR-15, where it clearly looks better. And I'm willing to admit, when he went in, there was, I don't know if it's, most of the time I always want to go to the adage that when the traumatic changes made, such as a quarterback, defense go to their base packages. But it was bigger than that.
Well, they couldn't do that because they've seen enough of him. They were prepared for him to come in.
But I'm just saying, like, it just looked like guys were running faster. Like different. They were just, it's tough. It's nothing against Emory. It's just personal experience, right? Chris Ricks was a starting quarterback for majority of my career at Florida State. Wyatt Sexton for a snippet. Drew Weatherford, my whole senior year. And this isn't even about Drew. It's really the dynamic of Chris and Wyatt. Chris was, it didn't matter what they called. This is the greatest play. We're going to execute it. Let's go out here and do our best. We liked Wyatt at quarterback because Wyatt was like, hey, man, we got to go make something happen. They just called the dumbest play I've ever heard in my life. Mm-hmm. Like, at least because we all knew, we all agreed with him, but we knew there was nothing. It was just a different. And then when we went out there, we had some success with Wyatt. Wyatt would have been a quarterback at Florida State outside of the seeing Jesus thing.
Right.
But he got
suspended. You have
suspended.
to Google that for you younger people.
He got suspended because during our bye week, I think he was dating a girl at UF or something like that. And
that was him.
They found it. It's crazy. Even then, they found a picture of him at a UF game during our bye week. Shouldn't have done it.
Wearing
I think he might have been wearing
like a gator hat. Too.
Yeah, it was something. Like, wow, it was something that you shouldn't have done. And he was suspended rightfully, and that was the last game he was ever at Florida State. And then he ended up playing a little bit in the Gator game, and then they pulled him. And Chris came back and put us into the comeback. Again, a lot of people say if Chris would have started that game, we would have won the game that Bobby Bowden Field was named. But my point in all that is that there are guys that you just vibe with a little bit. You don't hate the other guy. You just vibe with them different. And it just feels different.
You don't have to be around Anthony long to get the feeling that, okay, this dude's different. And I mean that from a bunch of different ways. I mean that from when he walks in and you see him to when you see him throw a football, when you see him move. But even when you shake his hand and talk to him, like, okay, this ain't your normal quarterback. And I think my frustration at that is like, you know that. I know they know that because of how hard they recruited him. I mean, people got lost in the Carson Beck drama, but they wanted Anthony really stinking bad. They wanted both of them. They never stopped recruiting Anthony. So I know how much they like Anthony. I just, for the life of me, cannot figure out what the hell is going on. But you're right. It's a combination of everything. The Todd Grantham thing is weird. The Todd Grantham thing to me right now, because the defense has not been bad this year until LSU. If you look at their defense, they played a bad quarter against Alabama, but that wasn't on Grantham. They missed tackles. They were in the right places. They played well against Kentucky. The offense lost them that game.
Right.
But Grantham is this. Grantham is the girlfriend that's cheated on you before. And you took her back. And she ain't got to cheat again. She's just got to talk to some dude. She's got to have a bad day. And you're going to be like, oh, shit, here we go again. Yeah. Right? That's what Grantham is. And you can't stay with that.
Every game, third and Grantham. Oh, here we go again. Third and Grantham.
Right.
Guys, give it a chance.
But you see what,
he hasn't failed yet.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's the LSU game is that. The LSU game is all of Florida Nation going,
As opposed to this, and this is the reality. I always say this: good defense and a good running game will win you a lot of games. That being said, there's 12 regular season games, right? Conference championship, then a bowl game. So in those 12 games, let's just say you're only playing 12. 8 of those games, you can go 8-4 every year, good defense, solid run game. 4 of those games, though, the offense, no matter how good your defense is, the offense is going to have to bail you out. Perfect example I'll get, going back 1993 FSU national championship, one of the best national champions, one of our best teams. Kansas. I don't even know how, like, if Kansas has ever had a team that good again. Mm-hmm. But they're in a shootout with Kansas. The offense literally had to have their back.
It's Charlie Ward, right?
It's with Charlie Ward. Yep. Now, really good. Charlie Ward and Ward.
To your point, though, you got to have that guy.
You have to have, like, something has to happen to where your defense just can't. Somebody's going to get the better of them. Schematically, all those things, like, and that's really all you're seeing right now. It's just you don't have Anthony Richardson there to bail your defense out when they're just having a struggle of a game.
I cannot imagine a world where you play Georgia in a game that means so much to your program right now, where Anthony Richardson isn't taking every single step.
Well,
I cannot imagine that world.
Well, that world you're living in right now. Are you talking about in the game?
Yeah.
Or in practice? Because you would think if you
should be doing it now.
Oh, well, okay. Well, Emory took 1 snaps yesterday.
Took 1 snap?
No. Took the snaps with the
first team
offense yesterday. So that's what was reported to me today. And I was just like, okay.
What are we doing?
And he was like, dude, we're going to
dude, if you look up,
they're going to fire. They're going to fire. I said, you were not going to fire Dan Mullen. He's like, if Dan Mullen keeps this up, they are already ready.
Bro, I am a huge Dan Mullen guy, but even I at this point have to go, Dan, why are you so stubborn? What is going on? Because before you told us that Emory could do more and you felt more comfortable with Emory. Well, you lied, because we just saw LSU. We just saw what happened when Anthony won the game. You didn't have to dummy down the offense. If anything, it became trickier. It became more fun. So what are you going to tell us now? You're going to have you can't fire Dan Mullen. Let's just get that out now. And I know Florida fans, football is like politics. You have to believe one way or the other, and there's nobody in the middle. I understand that. You go through life that way. I get that. I'm not. Stop with the Lane Kiffin stuff. Just stop. Stop with the Lane Kiffin stuff, because we're all praising Lane Kiffin because he beat Tennessee by 4. We're all like, I don't know. I haven't looked at Lane Kiffin's record. Tell me a big win. And I don't even mean at Ole Miss. I mean ever. Tell me a big win he's got.
I can't give you.
You can't think of one, right?
You're right.
Like I said that today to Hacker, and Hacker's like, "Well, tell me a big win Dan Mullen's got." Freaking Georgia last year.
Yeah, that was pretty big.
Like and you talk about the miles.
Stop.
Oh, then he discounted that one.
A Gator Fair. All right, man.
Well, hold on, because let me finish this, because we started this thing off with chasing Kirby and Nick, right? Here's the thing. You can quote me all the records you want to quote me against all these coaches, and I agree with you that Dan Mullen's got to improve in some very big aspects of coaching. But he's the only one that stands up to Nick Saban every single time they play, and it's a nail-biter. Last year's Alabama team blew through everybody except Florida. Now, Texas A&M beat Alabama this year, but it wasn't because Alabama didn't score and didn't move the ball. Go look at Bryce Young's stats.
Right.
This Todd Grantham defense that we all saw get exposed for 2.5 quarters held Alabama like nobody has in probably 2 or 3 years. All I'm saying is he's not as far as you think. The recruiting thing isn't an issue. It is a big issue. And all I'm saying is, Dan, I know you listen to the Sports Den.
You want to? Can I give you some big Dan Mullen wins if you would like next time?
Well, I know. No,
it was LSU,
Auburn,
8, when they were number 2,
yep.
Texas A&M when they were number 6. They lost to Alabama, but it was 25-20.
Mm-hmm.
I just he really.
Yeah, he said that.
Okay,
anyway,
I'm sorry,
Dan. If you're listening, here's all I want to say, and we can move on from this. I understand the recruiting from a facility standpoint isn't the easiest thing right now. And that goes for Mike Norvell and Willie Taggart when he was there. And that goes for Manny down in Miami. And that goes for a lot of places that their expectation is top 5 recruiting classes. I understand that you were dealt a bad hand. I get that. You accepted that, but you got that. You have to, Dan, listen to me. I want your eyes, like, stop looking anywhere else, Dan. And I want you, like, we're going to match eyes right now, match energies. Get advice, get help. Stop being so stubborn. Bro, you are elite when it comes to calling plays. You're elite when it comes to game management. You're not very elite when it comes to everything else. You're good, and you're in the upper 10% of what you do as a profession, probably the upper 1%. That's why you're making $7 million a year. But you're at a fork in the road, Dan. You've got to get this addressed. You need to reach out. Steve Spurrier, I mentioned this the other day. He's right across the hall. My man did a 180 after he got shellacked by Nebraska. Walk your ass over there. Coach, can I get some advice? It's not that hard. And then take the advice, implement the advice, and let's move forward. Because we're not going to find anybody that right now is going to make Florida any better than what Dan Mullen has made them. It's not going to happen. Y'all try to tell me so. Y'all try to tell me champ.
That's the point. And I think that's where Florida fans have to be careful. And it's a frame of thinking that in a mind that you brought me around to. It's like everybody talks about firing somebody, but you have to make sure you have somebody in mind that's better, that's clearly better than what you have already. It's easy when you're like only winning 2 games.
And those dudes are hard to find.
But when you're like, I can only think a few times where it worked, but it didn't work long term, or it didn't work short term. Like for example, we talked about Gruden a couple shows ago. Gruden was the spark that pushed the Bucs from playoff team to Super Bowl once. Then it got bad real quick.
Well,
but that
stay in college. Who in college?
I was going to say in college, it's taken Kirby up to this point. Now he did have it 1 year where they should have.
Was Kirby that guy when he was hired? Was Kirby? I'm trying to think of guys that when your coach got fired, that you went, we got to get this guy.
I think
Urban was that guy.
Urban was that guy.
Tom Herman was that guy. Didn't work out. Was Kirby that guy? Will Muschamp, by the way, was that guy. Was Kirby? Or was that just a really good hire?
Kirby was considered, like, you got to think again. Mark Richt did exactly what Kirby's doing right now. Outside of this year, this year's team is. If this year's, I'm gonna be honest with you. If this year's team doesn't win the national championship, I'm probably, if I'm a booster at Georgia, I'm going to Kirby and being like, hey man, you need to make some. You need to get you a real offensive guy. We need to make some fundamental changes.
You have offensive. You need to give them control.
Or give them fine. Yes. My thing is, I'm not going to go as far as saying you need to fire him because I'd be stupid. But I am going to say, like, yo, that this doesn't make sense because he's basically done up to the point, statistically speaking, wins, losses, all of that stuff. Actually, I think at one point Mark was 1 win better, like at the same mark. But everybody was like, maybe he's the guy, younger, more energetic, more better with recruiting, can get us into this new thralls.
And they've put a lot more resources out with him. They did
and that's really where it comes down to. So the conversation I had this morning was do what you want to do, but if something doesn't change, we're not putting you can't come to us.
Right.
And we already know how Florida operates and how they act. They don't move unless it's paid for.
Yeah.
So that's
got to change too.
They're like, which is true. But like, if you want this, don't come to me unless this happens. And I'm like, there's no way. And then the person basically told me, I was like, hey, you're not finna fire a guy over a kid. Come on, man. It's not. So it's not the kid. It's accumulation of all these different things, and he's just hard-headed. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair.
Do you think Dan Mullen wants to be there?
We all know who one of his mentors is. And now I'm not saying he's going around. Now, our boy Zach Smith tried to call him out having the illegitimate child. I don't believe that's Dan Mullen anymore. But I do believe that Dan is no longer enamored with the big time Power 5 level, where a loss literally causes your inbox, your entire life to flood. Like, that's why I think the NFL might be more suited for him, because going in, if you have a cap of 7 losses, no matter how good your team is.
I mean, should we assume that conversation though has been had between the AD and Dan Mullen? Of Dan, do you really want to be here?
I think
we should assume that, right?
Sort of, but I think it's there. I wouldn't say that. I will say this: the AD has more than likely put plans in place to protect them for if Dan just leaves.
Well, I think it's time to have the conversation. I think it's time to sit down as 2 grown men and go, okay, Dan, you first. Do you want to be here? And if he says yes, okay, this is what we're going to need.
But I do think,
because remember, that was the rumor last year.
I think the rumor was gone no matter what.
Well, the rumor last year was that Dan got PO'd because he was being told who to retain and who to fire.
Right.
So, and from what I understand, it got pretty ugly for a couple of weeks. So I don't know if there's something left over from that. I don't know. It's just something weird, man. Dan, you're too talented to do this, man. You are. And I mean that. Like, you're way too talented. You're too well thought of in so many different circles. You've got too good of a resume to be dealing with stuff like this. So either change or get out. Like, I mean, it really, the decision's on the table for you, not for anybody else. Anyway, I didn't mean to spend that much time on it, but if Anthony doesn't start on, I feel bad for Emory. I mean,
I wonder how much that Outback deal was.
Well, Anthony got it too.
I know.
Did you see Jeff Sims?
No. Jeff got a big deal?
Mercedes-Benz
of Atlanta does a lot of stuff.
Bro,
like that.
I don't think
Mercedes-Benz
corporate. There was not a tag to a dealership.
Oh, wow.
And he told me when he's down, he's like, Coach, I got something coming.
That's dope.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, quarterback in Atlanta doesn't suck.
No, I mean, yeah, like all you got to do is win.
Just want Jeff. Never mind. Anyway, we'll move on. Yeah, go ahead and switch. Yeah, you already did. Northeast Florida Executive Health and Med Spa. Some Gator fans probably need to get there just to relax a little bit, recover. You got a week off. You don't need to be like, it's not healthy to be steaming about a loss for 2 straight weeks. That's not ideal.
I know the answer to this question, but like, are people really like just like?
Yes.
Like,
dude, you should see
whole mood. Like, I mean, I get. Like,
you should see some of my inbox.
I get it. I just want to believe that some of it is just for show and for the like.
Wait, because y'all do understand that I don't coach there, right? I just want to get that. Y'all understand that I don't coach there, and I don't really have any affiliation. So you inboxing me, what you're inboxing me, isn't helping. None of us.
So I was listening to one of my favorite morning shows, and even though it's not as much anymore because
WQIK, the country station.
Yeah, of course. WKRP, actually, Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, Cincinnati
is what I. But the Breakfast Club. And they were talking, they had this guy, they said, is social media the devil? And they're doing these statistics about people being happy and this. And I'm like, y'all do realize you control like, you don't have to be mad. You just put it down. Like, you don't have to respond to that person.
I think people like being mad.
And I think that's really what they said. It kind of caters to every social media platform that's been successful. Has catered to one of the 7 deadly sins.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here thinking in my head, like, this morning I woke up. Every day I've woken up to it's vaccine, no vaccine. It's Dan Mullen. I'm like, y'all legit woke up on a beautiful, crisp autumn day in Florida where we don't get, like, it's been hot as hell so long that it felt good to wake up, to open. I had to open the door check to see how cold it is, and that briskness. It's like you wasted the 20 minutes of joy we get in the state of Florida to go argue about something that you have absolutely no control over, or you're not going to do anything about.
It's the way the world works now.
I get discussions, but like, you're mad. Like, when you're whole mood has changed?
Well, I did, and I'm gonna get to 8 o'clock. I do have something that has changed my mood.
Okay, I mean, like, did it affect you?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's different.
Yes,
what I'm
it
saying,
affects all of us.
Okay, that's different. What I'm saying is, if the only time I've gotten mad recently about sports, because people like to say, "Well, I say I don't play anymore." When we win, I say we win, but when we lost, I've learned how to compartmentalize it. I didn't lose anything. I didn't sweat. I didn't get hit. They lost. Mm-hmm. They sorry. Whatever. But the point is this: is when we made that bet, I was motherfuckering Urban Meyer a lot. And it wasn't even for a lot. The little $50 that we made, because you jump up 14 on somebody on a Thursday night.
Oh, yeah.
You kick the damn
I forgot all about it.
You kick the damn field goal. I'm cool now, but I'm just saying then I was mad because I'm like, oh, I'm feeling good about this.
You're about to get 6 racks.
I was actually thinking about it. I said, man, I can go get that purple bed. That's kind of cool. It's not too heavy. Get rid of my old one because, they say 8 years. Get rid of your mattress. I'm like, I can put something down. I can get some new tires. I was thinking some new shoes. I was already starting to budget the money. And then they did Jaguar things, and it was things that were so it legitimately affected me.
Right.
But then I was like, all right, well, cool. It was my fault for counting money I ain't have. That's what you're not supposed to do. But a lot of this stuff really doesn't do anything to you guys. But whatever.
Well, there's an interesting thing happening this week, and then I'm gonna plug it into. Nope, stay there. Tom Brady and Justin Fields, when they play this week against each other, it is the largest age difference between starting quarterbacks ever.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. When Tom Brady was Justin Fields' age, Justin Fields was being born. Like he's twice as old, 44 and 22.
Jeez.
That's insane. If you want to feel good when you're 44, 45, like I am, here you go. Northeast Florida Executive Health and Med Spa.
Because let's be clear, he doesn't have to admit it. That ain't all the TB12 diet, man. A lot of your pastor.
You think he's going there? You think he's having issues in the bedroom?
No, but there's things like
he does hyperbaric chamber though.
He does hyperbaric. I'm sure he does hyperbaric chamber. I'm sure he does cold therapy. I'm sure he does a lot of the red laser treatment. I'm sure he does a lot of.
What about testosterone
things,
shots?
But you can't tell me that he ain't doing T shots or HGH or some other stuff, man. Because all right, and the game has changed a lot. A lot of rules have been made. A lot of players that were like 40-something that are 40-something now. Think about the guys the same age as him that came out of there. I worked with Lonnie March Jr., who played linebacker in the NFL when he was around the same age as Tom Brady. That man, they don't walk straight, let alone run and go through all this other stuff. They walk with a bop because they ain't got no choice. Tony Baselli has had how many hip surgeries?
Yeah.
Brunell's coaching.
Yep.
I'm sure it hurts a little when it's cold outside.
Well, he's a lot older than Brady.
I'm just saying, but even before he was older, it's take a little bit more to get up. No, but I'm
Wig, we're doing a show, dog.
Yeah, why is it? Yeah,
why are you calling me?
You can see it on Twitter.
Come on, Wig.
Like, what are you doing? But I'm not even because I don't care. You gotta still work. You still gotta do the work. You can't. It ain't just a shot that automatically enhances everything. We should put them on.
Hey, Wig, we're recording our show right now, and you're on speakerphone, so be careful what you say.
Oh, okay. That's why I was calling both of y'all.
Well, you're on air with us right now, so what's up?
I'm on air? Okay, that's why you told me to be careful, because you don't want me to curse.
No,
yeah.
Kurt, we're not on FCC.
Y'all talking about the SEC?
No.
You can curse if you
want to.
We're
actually at this point talking about where you go if you're having hard times in the bedroom. So I didn't know if you were calling us to get that phone number or what you were calling for.
No, I don't need no jumper cables, man.
Hey.
What kind of problems you talk about? You got problems with lift off, or you just got a problem with technique? So you're so old. You got the right person on the phone now.
We need to get you in. Yeah. I don't even know if this sounds actually any good, but yeah. No, you know what you should do though, Wig? You should go to check out Northeast Florida Executive Health and Med Spa.
Okay, there you go. I'll roll with that. I might go by there anyway, Give them a little bit of my DNA to put in them bottles, and everybody be straight.
Hey, I'll holler back at you, bro. All right.
Well, there it is.
The one and only T-Wig. Real quick before we get to my 8 o'clock, I wanted to get into this Washington football team thing. Can you get your calculator out while I read you these numbers?
Sure.
Let me get my glasses. See, this is me getting old here.
Yeah.
650,000 emails over a 7-year period. How many is that? That's let's break that down like monthly.
90 a monthly?
Yeah.
Okay. That's 7,738 a month.
Okay, divide that by 30, just an average month.
258.
It's a lot of emails, bro.
Yeah, but that's like across. There's not one
I don't
person,
know,
right?
because here's where I'm going.
Is this all the one person that they?
So I'm reading this on Pro Football Talk. It said that Bruce Allen and Jeff Pash, who is the general counsel for the NFL, exchanged more than 1,000 emails. So remember what we said the other day about John Gruden. If you're going to release stuff that's damaging to John Gruden,
Release all of it.
then do it to everybody. So they had over 1,000 emails between Bruce Allen and general counsel Jeff Pash. And so the NFL, it was over 10 years. Okay, my bad. They were like, well, that's really not that many because over 10 years, that would work out to roughly 2 per week. So they're not releasing what's in the emails, but somebody did. Somebody leaked them. And there's things in there like the general counsel's, it says flippant remarks about the wall on the Mexican border. Like, okay, whatever. Allen's effort to reduce a player's salary, Pash called it the Lord's work. And commentary on whether players exercise their right to vote. Allen guessed it's at 1%. Pash said maybe even take the under.
Okay.
Emails also raised competitive concerns regarding possible favoritism to the Washington football team. Text messages were not reviewed with this either. So, which I thought, like, if I got a work phone and you're looking at all my emails, then maybe the text messages. My whole point in all this is this not enough between this and Gruden? Is this not enough smoke to where we should expect more than the NFL 2 days ago saying, oh, there's nothing else in the emails?
All right. So what people got to realize is the Washington football team basically works for the NFL. So the NFL is doing an investigation. You have to cooperate or you're basically facing heavy penalties from your employer. That's what their owner, Dan Snyder, has chosen to be affiliated with. It's a privilege to be an owner. You have to cooperate or you won't be one. Now, if the only way that they can really release these things, and that just has to be that's got to be a fight that D. Maurice Smith wants to fight. Is if the NFLPA puts a lawsuit out and in discovery and all these different things, you have to give up those things. But that costs money. That costs a lot of other things. Well, and I agree with you.
The other thing, though, is if you're DeMaurice Smith, I want to know what's in those emails before I ask. Because, listen, if it's too bad, you know what? Y'all let this. Y'all speak. Because
and you just really made the point, right?
Yeah.
So us on the outside, not even the drama aspect of it, because I know it's going to be great theater. I don't even remember. I don't even know. It's got to be at least $16 billion now, right? I remember at one point it was $8 billion a year operation, and they were like, it was only 15 countries that made more, not
bring in
like
more.
Bring 15 countries like that. Like that's how big the NFL is. Like, do you really want to bring down something that's this?
You know what? You changed my mind. Lock them up. I like the NFL too much. Right. Lock those emails up. Don't let anybody see them because I know there's bad stuff.
This is what I know, and this is why I hate when people act stupid. It this has nothing to do with is America a great place to live or not. There's only one place that if it's maybe the Caribbean, but I gotta have my money right before I move there. I love living in America. America is ass backwards with some of the things that they have. And if you believe that racism just magically disappeared after they signed the Civil Rights Act, you're a dumbass. That being said, I'm not naive. I'm not going to, like this guy, there are things that are better, but I'm just not naive either. Part of it is this. My grandmother's still alive and kicking. Some of these owners are the same age as my grandmother. My mother is alive and kicking. She was the first person to go to school that was desegregated. Hell, there's coaches that are her age. I'm not saying every person in America talked a certain way, but I'm not naive enough to believe that some of these people didn't get raised by people who did talk this kind of way. So some of the stuff during that time period.
There's something remarkably true about racism's got to die off.
Right.
Like that. Yeah.
But my point is that like, you think like Dan Snyder's team was called the Redskins, which is a slur from what I understand from what Native Americans say. You don't think that there may be some other slurs that are in there? Obviously, I know just the misogyny alone of Jerry Jones's emails would be nothing more than amazing to read.
Can I ask something real quick? Rewind. Because the way you just said that, like you had no hesitation in saying the name.
I was born that way. They've been that team for most of my. It's harder for me to say WFT.
That kind of proves
right,
what you're
and
saying.
that's my point. Like,
yeah, that kind of like because you followed up with that's a slur, but you don't even say the N-bomb. Right. So
you got to get me to a point where I'm really aggravated with you for me to say it in public. But when I say it, you know I'm mad.
But to your point, you didn't mean anything bad by saying what they were formerly called. It's just you grew up calling that was the name of the team.
I own paraphernalia. Like of that team, like, and you know,
the logo was dope.
I didn't know that was even bad until somebody told. But the one thing I am smart enough to do that I don't think even some of these owners are, rich people in general, the top 1%, because they don't have to. You don't. If you tell me something is bad enough, like once I really learned like what that meant and why, I'm like, okay, I see your point. I don't have to say it. It really doesn't affect my life if I don't say it. I'm okay. Even then, I used it in the context of what the owner was doing.
I did that with the Gator thing, remember?
Oh, the Gator bait?
Yeah.
So even Gator bait in of itself isn't bad, but the root of it is like
I was pissed whenever they were like, we're getting rid of it. And then somebody sent us something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, okay.
That's
never
pretty
mind.
deep. I didn't know. I wasn't mad at I didn't even know. You couldn't even, but I'm not a Florida fan. So I wouldn't even know when they played it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, oh, well, okay.
You know, when they stopped playing those when we stopped winning 10 games.
Sometimes, yeah. Listen, sometimes just like
how bad y'all want to be Georgia?
I talk about it's just like stereotypes. Not all stereotypes are bad. Some of them are good. It's just like we got to learn. Anyways, there was a comedian who said that one time. You got to keep the good. You can't just have the good ones. You got to keep the bad ones too. But my point is that the 1%. And that's even more than 1%. Those 31 owners,
the 1 millionth of 1%.
Right. What those guys have probably said to each other is probably like some really, really bad stuff. The Donald Sterling thing. Donald Sterling won 2 NAACP Man of the Year awards where he was at. But man, did he was banging a black chick.
Listen, man.
And it was what he had to say, like, you don't think there's some Donald Sterling stuff in the NFL?
I don't remember what he said. I just remember Donald Sterling was really old.
Right. But again,
really old and got a crap ton of money for that franchise.
But that's the one thing I did learn about that. One thing I know about those guys, they got their money. This is the worst investment that an NFL owner makes. But there's a power that comes with it because I know people aren't going to like the way this sounds, but this is the truth. It's the same reason people give millions and millions of dollars to a university for sports. The closest, I would put it so you don't feel guilty. Don't hit me with your white guilt. I would do the same thing too. I want people to understand I would do the same thing if I had that kind of money.
Hey, I'm interested now because you've stopped 3 times.
It's the closest thing to owning people that you can have is a professional team. There's only 32 NFL teams. Was it 28 basketball teams? There's only a few baseball teams.
How's it any different than owning a company?
Oh, anybody can start a company. You literally have to be chosen. No, this is like you have to be chosen. Like you can't just make enough money to own an NFL team. Shah Khan is a multi-bajillionaire. He had to wait. He just wanted anything. They wouldn't let him in baseball. They wouldn't let him in basketball.
So are you going with the route of like the NFL Combine is like an auction?
Oh, but like the thing is it's a choice. Indentured servitude was, but that's not where I'm going with it. It is like if you really go, if you really have like me, what I studied in history, if you go look at auction blocks and you go look at what they're doing, yes, there are very big similarities.
And I'll say it for James. Yeah, he's not saying that it is the same.
It's not the same. It's just when you really look at it.
So miss us with they're making millions of dollars.
And I get that. Like they are. But it is again. Lathered up in baby oil with your shirt off in draws in front of a bunch of old ass white men. Some people do it because it helps you glisten.
Yeah, that's their choice.
That's your choice.
I'm not drafting you if you come out in baby oil.
My point is this: you're still in your drawers. You're walking around a bunch of old white men, and they're all googling, goggling, and touching every part, whatever part they want to touch. They typically don't go there. But they're talking about your booty. Remember he talks. The one guy, I understand. The one guy talks about delicious booty butts. I'm like, it's weird now. Charlie Castle, it's weird. Yeah, but that's the same thing that they did back then. But that's my point is that you literally get to own people. And as far as a normal business, if you built it from the ground up, it's a lot that has to go through you getting fired, unless like you have a board of trustees and things like that. But if you own it, a lot has to go and you get fired. You can get your team taken away from you, and that billions of dollars is cool. But you're 85 fucking years old. What is $2 billion going to do to you? You're about to die tomorrow.
Across sports, right?
Yeah, across sports, not just NFL. Like even because baseball.
But let me ask you this, because I was gonna like, do you think if you search through the emails of the NBA
that you're gonna find some weird, wild stuff? Yes.
Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably the wildest. Okay. Because
am I considered an old white guy?
You're not old. No. Now it's 40 is the new 30.
You aren't an old white guy at all. Old white guys have a different demeanor about them. You could be, depending on if you were different.
Okay, here's what I'm going with
20
this.
years ago, you'd be old. Now you're not. It's weird now.
Okay, it's life expectancy saving me.
No, it's just like, just go back and look at how.
Or is it the Yeezys?
It's the Yeezys.
Okay.
This is what I was saying. Go back and look. Like I was looking at some of the stuff that like my mom and them wore when they were 30, and I'm like, there was no reason for you to look that old at that age. I'm your age.
Well, here's why I asked that is like, did people not let my fellow older white Americans know that email's not safe?
I think
did we miss some people with the memo?
It goes back to what I was talking about with the Gruden thing. Like it's easy to say, don't do this, but you don't even understand what you're using. It's what makes my grandmother so pure. My grandmother has never opened up a computer before. I know a bunch of 80-something-year-olds that know how to work a computer. I don't think she's ever had a cell phone. She knows what she can do, and that's what she does. My mom has a better understanding of how this stuff works now. But like, I don't really think a lot of people know how social media works.
What age should get a pass?
I think to me, everything in context should take a,
because I'll be honest.
I don't think personally, if you're 60 years old, right? Mm-hmm. Or younger, I probably should say I'll even go. Basically, if you're retirement age right now, there's no reason that you shouldn't know what you can and what you can't get away with. Not the email part, but just what you can say and what you can't say to a certain extent. Like there should be like a fine level. Like we know this racist stuff is bad.
Yeah.
Like we know you can't go around calling people darkies.
Here's why I say this
and stuff like that.
People use that.
I'm just referring to old stuff, but like some of the consonant stuff, it's a little still like gray area.
Because when the Gruden stuff came out, it was like, because remember at first it was just the first email was the one thing, and it was kind of like,
right.
Like, they're gonna lose a job over one email, but then when all of them came out, it's like, okay, that's who you are.
Like the dark,
you know what I mean? Like that, you have defined yourself.
The Michelin lips ones, I'm like, all right, man, you shouldn't have said that, bro.
Well, I didn't know the nose thing,
but even then, you shouldn't have said it. But like, it wasn't like if he was drawing pictures of them and it was like blackface pictures, then I'd be like, all right, bro, you're going too far. But the way he talked about
everything,
Michael Sam in particular, we knew then. Like when I say you, I know what I mean by that. I'm not saying that as a word of endearment. I'm saying that to try to challenge your
What communication do we all use safely now that is we should look ahead and go, okay, 10 years from now, it's not safe?
DMs. You can delete DMs.
I mean,
Snapchat.
I'm trying to think.
Nothing is
because
safe.
the reality is, like, I've got little Google Home things around here right now, probably recording everything we're saying.
Oh yeah, if you got
this phone's recording everything we're saying. I mean,
they can get you whenever you want to.
So in other words, just be a decent person. Because people always say like governments listen to you. Good.
Like that's what
good.
I say.
Like good. I love that social media listens to me because I don't have to look for anything.
It's very. Hey, at first it was creepy.
I need my house pressure washed, James, and then bam.
At first it was creepy, but then it became kind of convenient.
How many shoe ads do you get?
I get tons.
T-shirts.
Tons. Like, I buy a lot of t-shirts.
Fantastic.
But like people were like, remember when they were talking about like they're gonna put the 5G chip in your nose if you get swabbed?
5G is a fraud, by the way.
It is a fraud, by the way. And none of us are getting sicker. They told me this is why COVID
There's
happened.
A 5G thing right there. And the minute I went to a 5G phone, it got slower.
When people said that's the Illuminati's way of chipping you and finding out everything that you're doing, and they said that on social media, I said, you have no idea how this stuff works.
Well, this is a perfect segue.
Literally on social media, they know where you're at.
This is a perfect segue to my 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock brought to you by Green Acres. Get to greenacresporting.com. Green Acres Sporting Goods, all your Second Amendment needs, everything like guns, bows,
you got that on?
Arrows.
Did you upload the picture? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Never mind.
Knives, stun guns,
muskets,
boots. I mean, boots can be steel toe boots.
Yeah, they are.
Be a weapon now. I mean,
you try to get on the plane with steel toe boots if you want to.
Crack a snake's head though. That works. And if snake bites, that's like one of the purposes of it. Like if you're hunting, like snake bites you, gets the toe, can't penetrate. Yeah. So get to Green Acres. That's all we're saying. Normandy Boulevard. Get over there. Tell them the Sports Den sent you. That's really, really important that you tell them that.
Yeah.
My 8 o'clock. You know how people say all the time, if this happens or this happens, I'm going to leave America.
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm there.
Okay.
It's not about politics. It's not about vaccines. It's not about Dan Mullen. It's not about anything else. There's something very traumatic happening right now that I don't like and I don't appreciate, and it is impeding on my freedoms right now.
Okay.
And it is changing my life. And that's paper straws.
I agree.
Okay. As you know, I am a tropical smoothie addict.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So if you're tropical smoothie, if you're listening, even though I'm about to cuss you, holler at your boy. In my America, I was told when I was growing up, paper was bad for the environment, so we need to switch to plastic. Hence why plastic bags came out, all that kind of stuff, right? So now some little hippie has decided that plastic's bad for the environment, which none of y'all know anything because, like, just look at the diet chart over the years at how much that's changed. I heard this amazing thing about intermittent fasting the other day, about how this is known thousands of years ago, but then not that long ago, we were told you have to eat every 4 hours. So it's like, anyway, we'll get another story another day. I go on a tropical smoothie the other day and I order on the line and I go pick it up and I run right out and I grab the straw and I'm like, well, I look at her and I was like, hey, I don't roll with paper straws. Like that's a no-no for me. I need a plastic straw. Oh, we're not offering those anymore. I mean, you're not offering those anymore. My America, I have freedom of choice, James. It's my body. All right. If I want to take the vaccine, I'll take the vaccine. I have taken the vaccine. If it like it's my body, if I want to put a plastic straw in my mouth, I should be able to.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
I will boycott. I'm not a boycott. I will boycott you over paper straws. They're the nat. And if you like paper straws, you're a terrible human being.
I understand the pros and those who are against the vaccine and stuff, like whatever. Some of it, I might think somebody's stupid. I mean, I'm not, but I get some of the stuff.
There's reasoning.
I promise. I really don't know any benefit of paper straws. Like,
there's 4 of us. Anybody here? Like, will y'all drink something with a paper straw?
Like,
no.
Like, how do you drink a? How do you drink a
You can't drink a smoothie like
with
that.
a paper straw? How do you drink a milkshake with a paper straw?
You drink anything.
And here's the problem. No, you can drink some things, but here's what happens, right? And this is what made me, because at first I was just like, man, all right, man, we're becoming such a sensitive. See, I got how you got to scrub some things out of your memory. I wanted to say something, but we're becoming a sensitive, soft country. And I'm like, but then I was like, but whatever. Rules are rules. It's your business. Fine. Do whatever you feel is best. And then I got a Coke. And what the Coke or a good cold beverage does to the paper straw after like 10 minutes makes it undrinkable. I'm like, it's like you're sitting there and you're trying to, it's collapsing now because it's soft.
Well,
and as a man to be sitting there working your jaws like that over a paper straw is just not cool. I didn't work this. I'm here to be refreshed. I didn't come here to work this hard for some damn juice.
Well, here's what I did is I went to Publix and I bought a crap ton of paper straw or of plastic straws.
You know who doesn't?
Because I like y'all enough at Tropical Smoothie. And I know it's not my peeps over here's problem. That came from higher up, right? So I don't want to give y'all up.
So at least this makes you a decent human. You didn't curse the person out who's making minimum wage.
No, she didn't make that decision.
You're like, hey, because a lot of times people are like, with the math, it's my right. I was like, ma'am, I make $10. I personally don't give a damn. But the people who paid me the $10 told me that I must tell you
they
to
put
the
a straws
mask
there.
On. So if you don't want to wear a mask, write a letter. I can't do nothing about it. But like, so again, most people are stupid
what I'm
and
suggesting
arguing with the wrong people.
What I'm suggesting, James, is really an investment opportunity for you and for all of us. Is we should pull our money together
and buy all the straws,
buy all the plastic straws that we can find, and we'll be driving around with them in our trunk. And if you want to buy them,
sit outside of Starbucks. Starbucks would never have this problem.
What were you gonna say, Bobby?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. You're just gonna every time you go, you're gonna take an extra handful and
sell
them outside.
Yeah. $1 a pop.
Hey man, listen. Hey,
$1 a straw.
Come here, man. Hey, you know what's good about these plastic straws? They didn't even want to tell you. The man don't want you to know this. You can use them 3 times. So that's why it's $1. Because you're getting a good value out of these straws. Now, I keep straws, man. Like, I don't understand why people do that.
Also, a lot of them give you like a paper straw, and the lid for your drink is plastic.
It's plastic.
Like,
the cup is the cup is styrofoam, which I'm pretty sure
I've never heard anybody recycle styrofoam. Like,
so you give me a styrofoam cup with a plastic lid and a paper straw. What? What? Y'all are trying to kill me.
It is.
The toxins mixing between those three can't be healthy. I'm making that up, but
when you present it like that, it is hilarious. Like you're trying to save the environment, but at the same time, you're saving the environment by making the cup like 10% recyclable as opposed to 90%.
Which, by the way, they're not even taking our recyclables anymore in trash.
Right.
So
they're taking our trash.
But what's happening to your recyclables?
Oh yeah, I mean, listen.
Everything's becoming trash.
Everything's trash. I'm not finna just stack up a whole
bunch. So you want me
boxes.
When I'm paying my tax money and they ain't coming to pick up my recyclables. So now I'm using both cans for trash. And now you want me to save the environment by making me. No, I'm not drinking through a paper straw. I will move to, I don't know, wherever has plastic straws. I have to Google it.
No, just like, a lot of stuff. It's not like, but the cool thing is we're using our platform. We're making fun of it, making light of it. Very serious situation. I'm glad you didn't curse the person out who's giving the paper straw. That's my beef on that is when things like this happen, subtle inconveniences.
Well, I mean, I'm a halfway intelligent human being. I know that they didn't come in the middle of the night.
What I'm saying, like some people like, that's it. America's going to hell in a handbasket. Goddamn paper straws. I'm out of here. I'm going to China where they love my rights.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm just saying. Oh.
Oh dear.
Uh-oh. Did you get in trouble for admitting you don't recycle?
No. Nothing.
Oh, okay.
We got to wrap up anyway, right?
Yeah.
We got to go anyway because now I got to make a call. All right. Well, this was fun. We should get a lot of. Hey, those little clips you're doing, Miles, are money. Love those. Yeah, keep them coming. We should have a good amount of them from today. We talked about everything.
Yeah. I just don't understand.
Friday, 1:00. Did you do your college football pick 'em last week?
I did. I only won 4.
I don't even know what I did. I know I did it.
I just got Kirby. I hope Kirby. I'm whooping your ass, man. All you had one job. I'm not mad at the other ones I lost because obviously there's 10 of them. I lost 5.
You picked Georgia to cover the spread. Is that what you're saying?
And they had it. And then you let Stoops off the hook. It's not about just beating a team into
Stoops is
submission.
boys with everybody. Stoops is the popular kid.
Well, everybody remember like the family name, like he's been around.
I know, but I'm just saying, like everybody that plays, like, yeah, got a great relationship with Stoops, and it's like, man,
I don't
Stoops. Like,
okay,
dang.
I'm glad you said that because I don't want him to be. If something ever, I hope Mike turns it around, and it's always Mike. But I happen to kind of like Mark Stoops and what he was doing. I don't want him anymore. I don't want a coach that everybody likes. Mike actually got me mad about that whole thing when he's like, I'm getting text messages from coaches saying this is the hardest. I don't want that shit. I want assholes. I want people to be like, you know what? We've had that with Bobby. That was cool. I want the
Where does Dan Mullen fit in this?
Dan Mullen's an asshole. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Dan Mullen, I know we gotta go. Dan Mullen has changed in my mind, though. It's not the same guy. The Dan Mullen I like was if I'll thumb wrestle you right now. I'll bet you I'll beat your ass.
He doesn't talk like that.
He just said that white.
All of a sudden, he turned into Gomer Pyle.
He's just. I'll bet you I'll beat you. The drunk preppy white guy. I'll beat your ass, buddy. Thumb wrestle me right now. He went from that to, we've got 2 awesome quarterbacks, and they're both good people, and want to see them both do something, and we should win a game, maybe. It went from like that's the only thing that makes me mad as a guy who likes.
He went
winners.
from Tom Coughlin to Gus Bradley.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell happened? What did they do to you in Gainesville?
All right,
wife shopping at Publix now in Gainesville before she said she had to drive all the way to Orlando, kiss some kids.
All right, we'll be back on Friday. We'll talk to you then.